I think it might be working. What a modern miracle. Hello. I'm attempting to live stream through my phone from my hotel room in Manchester because I realised they had this chair that looks a bit like the brown sofa look. Yeah, this is probably not a good idea. I also noticed doing a speed test that the Wi-Fi in this place is very slow download but very, very fast upload. So this might actually work. I don't know, but I'll bet it sounds really echoey and weird, probably bouncing all back from this seat. Anyway, the reason I wanted to do this was I wanted to like a little bit of a celebration thing because my new book, Attack of the Flickering Skeletons. I've got no idea if this is in frame, by the way. I can barely see anything because the phone is like in this weird tripod thing with a grip on it that I bought from Pound World this morning, so it'll probably fall over because the tripod was part of the kit as well. Anyway, this got published, I was going to say today, but technically yesterday now, as this is a midnight live stream, and it's all new and all that, and I'm currently touring the country, so to speak, doing a few meet and greety book signing thingamajiggies. We did Manchester today, obviously, and we did various others earlier on. Where have we been? We've been to Newcastle, we've been to Edinburgh, we did Norwich, etc, etc. Big ones coming up. If you want to come to the London one on Saturday at Forbidden Planet, that'll be quite good. I tell you what, let's do that later when I've actually got a note of what time these things begin, and we can go on from there. Anyway, yeah, exciting times. Second book. It's like the first one, only there's more in it and it's bigger. And I am super blooming chuffed with it, frankly. It's come out better than I thought it would. It's just, I don't know, it's slightly physically bigger, which I'm actually preferring now. And it's having more, it's got more pages, it's got more text, it's got little extra fact boxes, things. I don't know, it just feels a bit more I don't want to say complete. It isn't like the first book felt incomplete at all, but I really like the extra additions. I'm very, very pleased with it, put it that way. Look, you can see some of it for free. Here's a page. It's talking about a Game Boy Advance game, and this was written by Mr. Dan Nerd Cubed. There he is. I think that's in frame. It's almost impossible for me to see here. I have to set up like a system of mirrors or something. Oh, man. There's a lot of good people helped out in here. You see this is signed to Bailey. That was a mistake, which is why I ended up with this copy. Turns out Bailey was somebody's surname. Here's the index. This will give you an idea of what the stuff we cover, if you want to see all in there. All your favourite games, like Death Kick for the Amstrad. Page 64, you've got to see this, actually. This is a game I only became aware of quite recently. I didn't know of this one when I was writing the first book, and it really is an astonishing horror. So 64, where are we? Oh, I've gone past it now. I'm not doing very well here. Here it is. Death Quick by Blaby Computer Games. What a name. And it's clearly Bruce Lee. This is the title screen to it. I mean, if that doesn't ooze quality, I don't know what does. It was only £1.99 new, but crikey. Here's a screenshot for you. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? You should see it moving. Well, it kind of moves. It doesn't really animate so much as jerk around. And also something I like is, and by like, I mean violently despise, 2 different Amstrad screen modes. They just squished it all up for the title screen. Also, the Masked Warrior there is, in the game's story, some kind of ruler of a country. A man wearing a thong and a bin bag on his head and no other clothes. I don't know what country he's the head of, but I think I probably wouldn't want to live there. We also need to apologise to Dan Ibbotson, DJ Slope, bless him. He did a really good piece on the time he spent money on Criss Cross Make My Video for the Mega CD. Poor fella. Yeah, and then I somehow managed to spell his name wrong here. I put Ibboston rather than Ibbotson. I even got it right in the index. Not even the fact checker spotted it. We failed you, Daniel. We are sorry. Here he is. I don't know if he's accepted my apology or not, but he looks happy. Ah, dearie me. Yeah, we've just had a really good time going around the country as it is. It's been quite tight. We did, for instance, Edinburgh one day and then Newcastle the next, which was quite heavy on the travel, but it worked. And then we did, what did we do? No, I'm telling a lie. No, we did Edinburgh at lunchtime, and then did Newcastle in the evening of the same day. And it was Bristol one day, and then Edinburgh the next. Crikey, it's been quite intense on that front, but it's been great. Met load of you. We've had a good laugh. Had massive queues, which is always good, because I get to pretend to my dad that I'm famous. It's what more would you want out of life? Oh dear. See, I had the idea now of reading some of the comments and questions that might be coming in. And gonna be honest, it's completely impossible, because the thing holding the phone is covering the part of the screen where the comments are coming up. So all I can see is like blobs moving up and can't actually read any of the text at all. I'm going to try, hang on. No, I literally cannot make it out. What a blooming shame. Dearie me. Oh, well, I'm going to push this down slightly. There we are. That's centred more in frame. I'm going to quickly show you, actually, everybody who helped me out with this, because they were all bloody brilliant, and I appreciate it massively. We do a thing, if you haven't read the first book, where basically have a chat to people who are quite good with games and words. That bit's also quite important. And ask them what their worst gaming... what was their biggest gaming disappointment, in the sense of which game did they spend money on that they regretted the most? And you get some really good answers from that. I spoke to Chinny Hill 10, who is an online Enigma man and also something of an expert on Amstrad stuff. And by something of an expert, I mean really an expert. There's Daniel Hardcastle, also known as Dan Nerd Cubed. There's Jim Sterling, Jim effing Sterling, son. Yes, that one. Daniel Iverson, who we mentioned there, from Slopes Game Room. John Bain, also known as Total Biscuit, also known as Total Halibut. Interestingly, he picked an Acorn Archimedes game. And the Acorn Archimedes, very rarely did anybody have one, because they were sort of super expensive, very interesting machines, very powerful for the time. And I really wanted to find a very, very bad game for a book from an Acorn Archimedes. I've never quite found one. I found sort of a boxing game that was pretty bad, but there were very few commercial games released for it as compared to the other formats. So finding a truly terrible one I found difficult. He spoke about the Crystal Maze, which is a really bad game. I played it on PC years ago. But it's, I wouldn't have said bad enough for inclusion as a main entry for the book. There's the bit about Hair Razor, which you may have seen. I did a talk at in Norwich last year, which is on the internet. This is slightly expanded from that. There's Kieran Hawken, who is a games journalist and, my goodness, a real expert on Atari stuff, particularly Atari Lynx, but he definitely knows his Jaguar and other stuff as well. There is Laura Kate Dale, who now quite famously is the UK editor of Kotaku, or the editor of Kotaku UK. I don't know which one of those. They both mean the same thing. That's what she does, all right. Then Pete the Nostalgia Nerd, who is a very, very knowledgeable man on the old games, to say the least. Also a really nice fella. He lives in Norwich. In fact, some of you may have met him, because he was at the book signing with me, signing the old books, because he wrote some of it in it, didn't he? There's Kim Justice, who is an absolute... If you've never seen a video, seriously, search them out. I'll say that for all these people, but Kim does really in-depth stuff on, like, 80s UK game scene bits and bobs. Really, really interesting. And incredibly well-researched as well. And Mensky returns. He's a face you may recognise. There's Arcade Hall of Shame, where he talks about arcade games that were converted to home computer formats. That was something of a disappointment. that was probably the understatement of the blooming century. Also, Larry Bundy Jr. returns and speaks about the awful Flintstones game. Like, unbelievable. The whole point of the game was to paint a wall. That's not a joke. They thought, hey, we've got the Flintstones. Hey, then we've got this kind of interesting, they've got all the prehistoric stuff going on, but they've got kind of technology through the use of dinosaurs. I know, let's make a game where you paint a frickin' wall. Thanks, guys. And also, if that isn't the weirdest spelling of Galaxians you've ever seen, it probably, you speak a very bizarre language. Ah, dear me. And I'm going to nip to a page in the back here. The Horsenberger Appreciation page. Good old Steve Horsley here did all the character portraits for everybody in the book in the style of teletext. Well, say in the style of literally actually teletext pages, if you remember teletext, which is a 3-bit image system. That's him. And that's a rather nice picture of Pac-Man he drew. But yeah, he did all of them in here, and massively appreciated, because his turnaround time is astonishing. Because, like you say, Steve, I need a picture of Jim Sterling, please, and like he has it to you in like 2 hours. It's just absolutely brilliant. Robo-Bolt. What an awful... Oh, God. Pro Soccer 2190. This is... You've got to see the screenshot for this, actually. Come on. This book's so new, all the pages are sticking together. Here we are. Imagine Speedball, written by idiots. My favourite thing about this game is how the people running just don't look like they're running. They're just doing like a small power walk thing, like they can't really be bothered to get anywhere quickly. It also runs at the frame rate of about 3 a week. It'd be quicker just to have somebody phone you up and tell you what happened on the screen, you know. Here's the Arcade Hall of Fame from our good friend Mensky, who you may recognise. Dearie me. Oh, God. Mystery Manor. This is one I hadn't seen until fairly recently. I came across it, and it's like Cluedo written by idiots. It really is unbelievable. Anyway, that's the book. Let's stop going on about the book now. But yeah, you can buy it from Amazon. There's probably a link in the description. I don't really know how that works through this mobile app. I put one in, but where it appears, who knows? And you can go in Waterstones and buy it. Forbidden Planet should have it as well. If you are in America or otherwise outside the UK, you will probably have to get it from Amazon, I would have thought. All the posh copies through Unbound have sold out. The ones with the fantastic moving lenticular cover. If you did back that, they should be coming in a month or so. They have been delayed due to the incredible difficulty of getting lenticular stuff made these days, as we discovered. But they are working. I do have a prototype, which I will be showing you soon. But I say a prototype, actually, it is a finished one that they're going to be producing a lot of. Dearie me. Right, I should probably mention dates, shouldn't I, for where else we're going on the tour, because we're only halfway through. Let's have a look. I've got it up here on this thingamajig. Here we go. Right. Tomorrow on Friday, we are at the Waterstones, Liverpool 1. That's in Liverpool at 1 p.m. Then at 6 p.m, we're in the Forbidden Planet in Birmingham. Then Saturday is Forbidden Planet in London at 1 p.m. That's quite a hefty one. And then finally Southampton on Sunday at 1 p.m. And then I'm going home after that, because that's the lot. Dear. Well, that seems to have worked quite well. I don't know if the frame rate held up for you guys, but I didn't manage to knock the phone over, and it seems to have worked. Although saying that is very difficult to tell, since I can barely see any of the screen. Well, that's that then, innit? Blimey. Books, eh? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Crikey. I never thought I'd write a book. Not like a factual book. I used to write a lot of stories and fiction when I was young. But no, I got really into this. As you probably noticed, by the way, I've written 2 books about it due to my minor obsession with really old games. By minor, I mean fairly major. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to go now before I knock this over completely. Thank you for sending comments, which I cannot possibly read due to the screen being occluded. But, oh, dearie me. Tell you what. When I get back next week, we'll do a proper live stream, like a few hours, and maybe play some of the old games and have a bit of a laugh like that. But anyway, cheers, guys. Take care. Oh, no. See, now I've pressed to stop it, and it says, are you sure you want to stop streaming? And the button saying OK is actually completely hidden behind one of the plastic struts of the thing holding the screen on. This is going to be fun. Yes.